Hello and welcome back to another Scots Jazz Club Bites online. And without further ado, let's connect to Scott, who's based in his piano studio in deepest East Belfast. Scott, hello.
Hi, Cormac. Great to be back.
How you doing, Scott? So, Scott, look, we're still, as we keep saying every week, and I think we will be saying this, we'd probably die old men going, and pretty soon we're going to be back at our club, but we're not back yet. But so in the meantime, we've organised a special show this week. We want to talk about two things, and one is that we are now an award nominated jazz club. So this is with the help of one of our friends. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. We have been shortlisted in the Event Production Awards. Unfortunately, not for the incredible high quality jazz music that we did put on over those 2 weeks, but we had the most COVID safe music event in 2020, which we're very proud of because one of our founders, Karen Smith, really went above and beyond to make sure that everybody who did come to the club had a very safe and COVID free experience. So we're really proud of Karen, but we're really proud of everyone at the club for it.
Yeah. And so those awards, the Event Production Awards, are a big noise in the live entertainment industry, and so we've been shortlisted for this award, and let's see how we do. But a big shout out to Karen because it was a lot of work. Karen brought in industry professionals to check that a room was safe and developed a whole set of procedures and ways that we had to behave in order to keep people who were visiting us safe, and we will have to continue on those, I think, for the foreseeable future as well. So there you go. That's the Event Production Awards. The awards ceremony is coming up soon, and we're in with the shout of winning. So that's great. So look, Scott, what else do you have for us today? I believe you have a special guest of some description.
Well, part of setting up Scots Jazz Club was not just to highlight the fantastic musicians of Belfast, but to really give international musicians who might be coming by or who might have a connection to Belfast a chance to come and play their music in Belfast. And one of those is joining us today. It's a great singer and a great friend of mine from Paris, Fabrice Mourlon. Hi, Fabrice. Great to see you.
Hello, Scott. Hello, Cormac. Thank you for inviting me. I'm
Yeah,
really
it's
glad to
great.
be here.
Well, we're delighted you're here. Just even from a technical standpoint as well. There's so much technology going on here that it's great that this live link up to Paris has worked. So how did you two guys first meet?
Ah, well, I came to Northern Ireland in 1989, and I was a French assistant there, and I I still had a passion for jazz, and I was a friend. I'm a good friend of David Torrance, who owns No Alibi. The bookshop on Botanic Avenue. And I went to see him, and I knew he was, putting on gigs, regularly. So I went to see him, and then he said, well, "You can have a gig with Linley and Linley Hamilton." And so that's it. And that's how I met, Scott. He was part of the gig. And then I realized when I played with it was a quartet at the time, that there was a special quality in Scott's playing the piano. The way he played, he was responding to what I was doing too. So there was an interplay that really I enjoyed. So then, we decided that we would play as a duo, and that's how it all came about.
Right. And so how many gigs did you perform together for quite a few years, or
Oh
how long were
yes,
you here?
we first played in 2015, I think, and then we had a few gigs at Bert's, and then we played somewhere else. I can't remember, the Red Box, and then we decided that we would record a duo album, and that's what we did in 2017. And it's a combination of Scott's music and my music and a few standards, and we rearranged them in a way that really we focused on the interplay between the pianist and the singer. And for example, when we recorded, we only took we had only maybe two takes for each songs, and I think we recorded 12 songs in a day.
Yeah, 2 takes for each song. Well, that's one more than Scott usually gives us. So you did well there. He's a one-time wonder, Fabrice, is he not? So
We made
it
sure
must
to
have
do one for safety.
Fabrice. It must have been you making the mistakes. If Scott makes a mistake, I just lean over here and hit him with a hammer. So
Oh, it will kill you if you make a mistake.
So that's great. But
Well,
Fabrice, you came initially to as a language assistant. Is that correct? But then
yeah.
Scott told me that your academia took you into actually studying jazz, the jazz scene in Belfast. Is that correct, or have I got that wrong?
Yeah, well, I'm a professor at the Sorbonne Nouvelle University in Paris now, and I was at the time when I first came. I was a student at the time, and I was on 22. I was young and fit, and 20 years into academia, and I took maybe I put on 30 kilos, which is not good. So that's why I keep music, doing music, which makes me keep young, at the same time. So yes, I've recently, because I was connected with a lot of Scott's friends and Lindy Hamilton's friends.
Yeah.
I wanted to write an article about the jazz scene in Belfast, which I think is vibrant, because there are a lot of clubs. There were a lot of clubs before the pandemic, and there were a lot of places where you could play good jazz, and there are very good jazz musicians in Belfast, and I really enjoyed it because I love Northern Ireland. I've been going there for the last, maybe I go there every year, so I've got friends there as well. So really, I wrote this article about the jazz scene, which is going to be published in May, and I would like to continue that, and to show that the Belfast scene, although it's a small country, is very vibrant.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And you say you put on 30 kilos as a direct result, I think, of Northern Ireland. So that would be
No,
down to
academia.
the bread, would it? The Northern Irish bread.
I'll tell you what. When I come to Northern Ireland, I lose weight. When I stay in
Right.
Paris, when I do too much academia, that's where I put on weight.
Oh, so
There's too
right.
much.
Okay. Okay. And we talked. I mentioned to you just before we came on air that one of my very best friends here in Northern Ireland is originally from Dijon, and I asked him why was he living in Northern Ireland when he could be enjoying all the great food in France, and he said that it was for the bread. And every year his mother comes across, she brings an empty suitcase and leaves with a suitcase full of Vita loaf. So I wasn't aware of the high reputation of Northern Irish bread amongst the French population, but there you go.
Yeah, it's true. And when I come to Northern Ireland, what I really love is sausages and chips. That's my ideal meal.
Yeah, so that's what we've brought to the world of French cuisine: sausages and chips. And
And chips.
okay, yeah.
Anyway,
So
can I interrupt this
yeah,
conversation on
Yeah.
food? Um, let's talk a little bit more about music. Fabrice, I believe that you recorded a new album. Was it last year? And could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. Well, this album was really a spin-off of what we were doing. We did, together for the duo album. What I wanted to explore is really minimalist, music in the terms that it's in a trio. So what we did together as a duo, I did that with a double bass and another pianist called Richard Razafin Drakoto, and I'd been playing with him for a number of years. And what we did really was to explore the simplicity of the music, and also the interplay, the intimate interplay between musicians. So there are duos and trios as well. So there are three duos, three trios, and it's really a combination of all that.
That sounds like a fantastic lineup of duos, trios, and really innovative takes on all these tunes. I believe that in Paris things are starting to open up, and you have a gig coming up soon. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm really glad. I have a gig on the 1st of July at the Sunside in one of the clubs in Paris. And I'm really glad to be playing again. And Richard and the double bass player Remy, we're really glad to be performing again, because that's what we really missed, the connection, the live music, and of course the connection with the audience, and really the idea that the music improves as we play it, and we find new ways of interacting, and that's what I like, never do the same
Well, that
thing. Yeah.
that's
Sorry.
certainly a great quote by a great jazz drummer Shelley Mann, who said that a jazz musician is someone who never does the same thing once. I absolutely love that quote. So, Fabrice, hopefully you might be able to bring your music sometime to Scott's Jazz Club whenever things open up and whenever you can get over to Belfast. Would you be up for coming over sometime?
Of course. I've booked, I've pre-booked in my head, when the quarantine is over, I'll be there, and I'll be glad to be playing with you again.
Yeah, well, they say now book early so that you have at least a 15% chance of getting here on your holiday. So I think that's. But so have you two managed to collaborate online at all, or do you find any you musically over the lockdown? Do you find that doesn't really cut it in the jazz world? I don't. I wouldn't imagine so. I mean, I think you need to see the whites of somebody's eyes, and
I certainly feel that for me, whenever I'm playing, what I really love about music, and especially in jazz, is the interaction between musicians in a room where everybody is playing, but everybody is listening at the same time. And I've seen so many fantastic online collaborations, and they really, really work. But for the kind of music that I really like, it just doesn't quite cut it.
well,
So
yeah.
that's why I really can't wait to get back to the club.
Yeah, and really, a lot of the online collaborations really are based on you play your part and then you record that and you send it to somebody else and they add their part to it. Well, that doesn't really leave much room for a live conversation, and really, so much of jazz improvisation is about that. So that's why we really anything we've done here has been with two musicians in a room, because that's what you need to work. But Fabrice, have you seen any of our jazz club? Have you seen the jazz club that we started here at all online? Has Scott shown you any of it? If not, you'll have to
Of
catch it.
course, I've seen them on Facebook, and I really like your format. And I've seen the duets as well, and I think you're doing a fantastic job. But as you said, really, I like the term you used. It's about the conversation. So you need at least to be. I mean, the musicians need to be together to be able to interact, and it's really a conversation. For example, with Scott, when we did the duo album, he was starting. I didn't know how he would start. I never know how he's going to start the tune. So it's really about adaptation, and it's the surprise that you get, and the feeling that you have from an introduction, for example, or if I introduce the stuff, but we never talk about it before. It's really about it's what is done on the moment
Yeah,
that
and that's
really is the thrill. It's the thrill
it.
of
Absolutely is.
the.
And the audience, I think, for people whenever they came along to the club, they really got that of the musicians, and that's particularly why we love this small club where we've set up, because nobody in the audience is very far from the musicians. We've actually cut the room in half to do it because we really want them to see the musicians sweating and thinking about their music, and deciding what they're going to say next. And the sound in the venue really is great for that as well. So it's a very intimate thing, and something that we felt was missing here in Belfast, that really intimate kind of setting for a gig. So we really hope that you'll make it over and come as one of Scott's guests and pick up the conversation where you left it off.
Yeah. And no, I think it's a very good idea, and the audience in Belfast is very receptive to new things, and I know that there's a long tradition of traditional jazz, but I think in Belfast, when you offer new music to the people, they are quite enthusiastic, and they are really responsive. to new things, and that's what I liked.
Yeah. So you found it nice playing to people here, and that their minds were open to hearing.
Very much, very much,
Fantastic.
very much opened. Maybe in big cities like Paris, because of course there are loads of gigs. Maybe people are more blasé sometimes. I'm not saying that they are, but they can be. But the good thing about Belfast is that people enjoy new sounds, and I really like the audience in Belfast.
Yeah, I think there's definitely, Scott, would you agree, room for growth in the jazz scene in Belfast? We were really surprised when we put on the gigs. We thought perhaps we would have a small bunch of loyal followers, but we were turning people away, and people were asking for season tickets.
I mean, it was unbelievable the response that we had whenever we did announce 2 gigs, with the hope of putting on more back last September. It was really surprising how many people just had this appetite for jazz and they couldn't wait to come out and hear it. And they lapped up whatever we put on. We put on 2 very, very different gigs, and certainly that's the whole ethos behind the Scots Jazz Club, is that we're going to present a whole range of different kinds of music. And even while we've been in this lockdown, I've been programming away and have a load of musicians lined up. So there's demand there for the musicians to come and play. There's demand there for the audience to come and hear it. I just can't wait to get back into the room and put the two together again.
Okay, well, I think on that note, that kind of wraps it all up. Fabrice, hopefully the next time we see you, it won't be online. It'll be at Scots Jazz Club if you can make it
Yeah,
over. Yeah, and
I will come as soon as I can.
so there you go. So, folks, thank you very much. Thank you to Fabrice for joining myself and Scott. We'll see you online next time on Scots Jazz Club Bites.